Not even
Yeah,
like
but I'm a Harlem cat.
you're a Harlem cat. Okay. Okay, folks, I'm about to get started, but listen, Mekhi just clowned me because I tried to play him. So listen, my name is
You trying to play me?
I did not. I did not.
I got love for Brooklyn.
I was
You know
coming
what
from,
I
I was
mean?
like, no, it wasn't like my name is Koku with my name is Koku with blackfilm.com, and I'm here with Mekhi Phifer, and we're here to talk about Lights Out, which will be on demand and in theaters worldwide February 16th. Thank you so much for joining me. So listen, I'll try to clear this up. I begin this by saying, I was like, I know you was born in Harlem, but aren't you from Brooklyn? He's like, Brooklyn? Nah. Like,
No.
he did say, no, I
But I
got
got
love.
love for Brooklyn though. You know what I mean? Brooklyn, those are my brothers and sisters over there.
Yes, yes,
So,
of course.
we all, like I said, you part of the 5 boroughs, we all first cousins in some way, shape, or form.
That is so correct. Yeah. And especially when you're out of town, the borough wars, anything you want to do, it all ends there, you know. When New York,
exactly.
It all ends there. Listen, while we're there, what do you think about, when you come back home and you see the changes to Harlem, what does that take you to when you walk those streets?
Well, it's interesting because it's a double-edged sword. I mean, obviously gentrification has kicked in. So, you love to see the community prosper and be more habitable. When I was growing up in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, Harlem was, mythological creature. I mean, because you really had to have your mind right to navigate those waters. You know what I mean? And not just survive, but thrive.
Yeah.
And so the essence of when we used to have Harlem Week and we would go to Grant's Tomb for the Jazz Fest and all of those other different things that we would do is a lot different now.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's lost a little bit of the essence of what I grew up in, but yet and still it's safer for my family to walk around.
That is true too. Yeah.
So so it's a double-edged sword. It just goes to show you about inflation and market prices and real estate and everything else. But I love Harlem to the death, man, and the essence is still there.
It's still there. I mean, there's a lot to do, and it's funny because I tell people, I'm like, yo, low key guys, I spend a lot more time in Harlem lately. There's a lot more to do, better restaurants than Brooklyn. So I hate to say it, right? Coming from the style, but listen, I spend a lot of time in Harlem. But listen, for people that want, maybe I shouldn't give away the secrets. I'm like, if you want to know what old New York is, though, if they really want to know, they need to hang out on Jamaica Ave. That'll remind them.
Oh yeah, Jamaica Ave, yeah, for sure. You got to go to Jamaica Ave. That's where we would go to Jamaica Ave and go shopping.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Gold teeth and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, But I could always go.
You just have to make sure you didn't get robbed. So you just have to have your mind right. You know what I mean? And
right.
And keep your head on swivel.
You ever in Albee Square Mall?
Of course. Come on now. Listen, first of all, after Biz Markie made the song Albee Square Mall, that became a destination because in Manhattan we didn't really have malls. In Harlem we didn't have any malls.
Right.
So if you wanted to go to a mall, you had to go to Albee or go somewhere in the Bronx or go to Jersey.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so, Albee Square Mall was another spot where I remember when I got my first check, when I did because we shot the movie, my first film, my first anything, Clockers, and we shot it in Brooklyn. And I remember getting my first check, and I went to the Albee Square Mall, and I got me a gold chain with a Capricorn emblem.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
You know what I mean? With an onyx backdrop on the emblem, and I thought I was balling out of control, and I do have it to this day.
Oh wow! I was gonna
when I was
that
19 years old.
Wow, because that was your first film, and it's a major film, and it's actually very major in history and to our culture. And when you got that role, you just like kind of happened upon an open audition. Were you really acting at the time, or just like was it something like?
Not at all.
Wow.
No, I wasn't acting at all. I was actually going to college for electrical engineering. And I went to an open casting call with my cousin, Sly Phifer, and who's now one of the VPs at Disney. So big shout out to Sly.
Shout out to Sly.
He's doing his thing. And so he told me about it, and I went with him. And we went to the open casting call. They asked me to come to the auditions. I auditioned about 8 times with Spike Lee and read with Isaiah Washington and Harvey Keitel and all that, and then I got the role, and that's what got me into the film industry.
Right. And it's like, I mean, because people, a lot of times people will say something is a little bit overnight. I think in your case, it truly does reflect that. It wasn't like your intention, and it became this thing that you just never stopped going. So that transition from just being that kid from Harlem, to going straight into films and becoming more, like, was it difficult to balance, you know, your life and then the new life that you had entered into?
No, not really. I mean, you know, I never looked at it like that because, you know, throughout, you know, my history as a youth, I was always involved in the community. I was always a part of the Frederick Douglass Community Center.
Great.
And so I was always involved in the talent shows, the Christmas plays, the Martin Luther King plays, the this and the that, just in the community. It wasn't nothing serious, but it was just something artistically that I did, and I was always involved in music in some way, shape, or form. So I would do hip hop, I would battle, I would do all that kind of stuff. And so when the Clockers came up, it wasn't foreign to me to perform. I just never performed in this forum. You know, nobody ever told me action or, you know, say these lines and do it like this. So it was instinctual, the choices that I made. And then once I got it, then I really honed in on the craft and on the skill set.
Okay, cool. And I do want to, we are obviously here to talk about the film Lights Out, right? And I did get a chance to watch the film, and it's really good. It's very action-packed, and it's really an ode to just sort of getting back to like those gritty fight movies, right? And it's really exciting, and it's pretty big plot twist there. You know, what made you decide to take on a role like this right now? I mean, you have such a varied list of things that you've done, right? So what made this role so perfect for you right now?
Well, it was different. You know, it was different. I've been fans of some of the players involved, director Frank Grillo, a couple other people involved. And sometimes you just do things because it's just a great opportunity to spread your wings in a different forum. Like you said, I've been blessed over the last 3 decades to do all kind of various different roles and you know, and play and portray different characters. This was a challenge because I wanted to be able to bring some heart to this world of fighting and underground fighting in this underground world, and humanize the character, which wasn't necessarily on the page when I initially read it.
Okay.
So I said I like where this is going. I was in between projects, so I was shooting. I had just finished one project, and I was starting another. And this just happened to be right in the middle of me starting my next project. And I love doing what I do. So now it was just time to go to the drawing board, track it, and make sure that the character development was there, and just. Look, at the end of the day, everything doesn't have to be a thought process where people walk out of there crying and, you know, overwhelmed with emotion. It's just entertainment. It's great entertainment. It's something fun to watch. I call it the Saturday night movie that you go on the first date with. You can go in there. It's not political. It's not religious. It's just fun. It's entertaining. You get into the characters. You go on a journey with them, and then you get out of there and you go to a nice dinner.
That's true. Yeah, like there's no awkward scenes where it's like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know him.
Right. Exactly. You know, there's nothing awkward that you have to talk with.
No.
The people that you're with later. But you just go have a good time. But you will be entertained, and it is character driven, and I think that's what sets this apart than just, you know, a typical fight film.
I do have a final question for you, just to kind of wrap this up. You know, I think, again, as you said, you've had about 3 decades in this career, right? And you've constantly always stayed working and always had the roles that, you know, chosen the roles that you wanted for yourself. But one thing that you've also been able to do is just maintain, you know, a strong head. As you said, you had a really strong foundation. You were involved in the community. But what's your advice to people? I mean, young and old, you know, because things, you know, a lot of things happen, right? What's your advice to people that how they can be more reflective about the decisions that they make within life, and how they can also stay prosperous and not have to get into the weeds of the nonsense, because you don't do that, and you've consistently worked. How do you maintain that? And then I'll just kind of wrap it up.
Okay, real quick. So, you know, I just make it about the work and about my family, about my friends. There's so much that I do in life that I don't put on Instagram or TikTok, anything like that. There's so many places that I go, so many ventures, because that's my venture. That's
Good.
my experience. That's my, and the people that I'm with experience. So if I'm climbing a mountain, if I'm snowmobiling, if I'm in the beach somewhere,
yeah,
everything doesn't have to be about everybody's business. So
right.
my business is mine, and I try, and it's about the work. You see, the thing is that what young people don't realize, and it's a detriment to them, is that everything that you do, in some way, shape, or form, is being filmed and is going to be there in the ether forever. It's going to be for eternally there. So the choices that you make, ultimately, are going to define who you are.
That's true.
As far as other people's information is concerned, as far as their thought process is concerned. So you have to be really careful about what you put out there, because it's there forever now. Something
That's
can haunt you 10 years from now. Whether it's going for a job interview, people don't people don't read resumes like they did years ago. They just Google you.
That's true.
They Google you, and then they'll see everything that you've done, everything that you've posted, the times you were drunk at the frat party, the times that you fought outside the club drunk, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then they'll make their decision on what, if they want to deal with you based upon that limited information.
Based upon seeing your grandma and grandpa at the Freaknik footage, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Wilding out in Atlanta, on the side of the freeway, stuck in traffic, with your ass out.
I get it.
You can't represent this company like looking like that. So I'm very much about the work. I keep my head down. I go to work. I'm about my family, and I'm very careful on. Not that I have nothing to hide.
Sure, but I get it. I get it.
It's just like, keeping a certain anonymity, with my friends and my families. So I don't have to post every time I go to dinner or go on a trip somewhere or get on a plane. That's just not me.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not me.
Right.
And that's what keeps me focused.
That's wonderful advice. I thank you so much for your time, Mekhi. My name is Koku with blackfilm.com, and I was here with Mekhi Phifer. We were here to talk about Lights Out. Yes, I am. And we were here. Lights out. You know what I'm saying?
Lights out, baby. Lights out. What you talking about? You crazy?
I still got hands, Coming out there.
I like that. Still got hands. You're nice and good.
All day, every
day.
I just like the subway, so I'm not even gonna do this. I'm about to get you in trouble with your PR. So let me get off of this thing, and we'll talk another time. It was great to talk to you, and it's in theaters February 16th. Mekhi, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for just having that great, honest advice, and for staying grounded and cool, man. Really appreciate you. Nice to talk to you. Later.
Love. Absolutely.
If you want to see more content like this on blackfilm.com, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell.